Yeah, as Matthew said, I sit right over here. I was one of the council members a few years back, and I was proud to be amongst good people here. People don't know me, my name is Neil Steuber. I've lived here since 1980. Raised my kids here, my family. I was actually married right upstairs here, homeless, back in the mid-'80s. As everyone's heard or read in the paper, I had an incident the 26th of July where my daughter was pulled over by a public safety officer. And my daughter was unable to retrieve one of the forms for the car, which was locked in a glove compartment. I came down to retrieve it, and when I had gone into public safety office to let them know that it's in the car, but it's just locked in the glove compartment. And what was the charge? I was there.
In the interest of time, they are all pretty familiar with
that.
Read in Require. What I'd really like to hear from you is what's happened since then.
Well,
what it is that you intend to do now.
Well,
and what it is that you would like RIRA.
I would like the RIRA to investigate this so it doesn't happen to anyone else, again.
I think that through our public safety committee, our primary goal is to make sure that when these issues occur, sure they do,
all the time,
that we learn from them and make sure that they don't happen. We have no investigatory powers here. However, what we have asked through the State Assembly is that there be an equivalent to the civilian protective report that monitors the NYPD that applies to New York State peace officers. That hasn't happened. And there are other alternatives that have been discussed through the committee to try to put together a small group of people here, perhaps, that would be representative of public safety, RIRA, the board, and RIRA, to try to come to the bottom of these things. If that is what you're asking us to do, I couldn't agree with you.
Well, and we went through the same thing when I was here. I said here, we went through the same thing.
Can you tell us what you've done in the 2.5 months since the incident? You were forced to, as I understand it, to plead to a violation. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, I was never ever in that situation ever in my life. And what I went through with public safety, being jostled around and then sent downtown with, you can imagine what with. I understand. And I was told, listen, if you want to get out of here now, it's like getting a parking ticket and you're out of here.
I'll recognize you when you was done. What about your relationship with your employer?
Well, that was also, I was told that it was the same agency that they wanted to fire me for disrespect. It was either junk or nutrition.
Have you had any recourse to the union?
Their union?
Your union.
My union? No. I was not in the union.
Okay. At this point, I would like to take some questions from the audience.
I just want to hear, because I was expecting you to tell the story. The part that I want you to hear in 60 seconds, okay, is the part from when you went into the public safety office to then getting escorted or whatever the right word is to hold himself. Why don't you tell us what happened there? Because I think that's a significant part of this, okay? And at least you can hear from the person himself what happened. So when you walked into the office, I guess the insurance card, what happened there?
Yeah, I was then told, no, I had asked what the violation was. And it was, the violation was, you know we don't go around the minibus on the island. That's what I said to them. And I was still in uniform. I said, look at me. I drive these buses. I know that's not the rule. And she kind of took that as like, I kind of like over, stepped her. And, but maybe I was looking to get out of the ticket, which I wasn't. I just wanted to ask, what the violation was and why. I mean, like that, cuffed him. And before you know it, I was handcuffed onto the ground, and and that was it.
Well, you were handcuffed and you were like from behind.
From behind. I wasn't even told to turn around, put my hands behind my back.
So you weren't given any directive that you were being arrested. She said, cuff you to the police, the
Right.
public safety officers that were behind you. And you fell down, and what happened to your head?
They threw me down on the floor.
And they cuffed you on top, with them on top of you.
Yes.
Okay, when you were taken into the holding cell, and at that time, did you use profanity at the officer?
At the
Yeah,
offices.
did you curse at the officer?
Oh, no, the initial one, after she cursed at me, because I said to her, why, is that how you talk to people? You curse like that?
What did she say to you to curse?
Well, I had said, like I said, you know I work for RIRA. You know that's not, I'm a bus driver, you know that's not a rule here. She said, don't bring that bleep here.
Okay.
And I said, well, are you kidding me?
We're all adults, let's just hear what.
Yeah, just what you would say.
Well, I'm in the church and I
I can tell you, Neil, that we've asked officers here specifically to tell us how the no yellow line rule is actually enforced here in the rest of the city. So we will be getting to that.
Okay, so I have two specific questions which relate.
And so I was saying, in the holding cell, then what happened? Did you remain handcuffed during the period of time where you were in
Yes.
solitary in the holding cell?
Yes.
I said, while you were in the
Yes.
holding cell, by yourself, you remained handcuffed?
Yes, they
For
still,
what period of time?
until the ambulance came.
Okay, and while you were waiting for the
20
ambulance
minutes.
and you told them that you were hurt, you said that you heard the public safety officers doing what?
Oh, they were making a joke out of it. They were actually laughing, and one of them said, I can't believe he wants an ambulance. Meanwhile, I was cut, I had a lump on my head, I couldn't move my hand, and I was handcuffed, sitting on my hands. I had 4 guys, big guys, land on me.
Okay, and so for a period of time, you remained handcuffed in the cell, which you were in by yourself, and you were injured. And they laughed about the fact that you were already in the ambulance.
Right, they couldn't believe I had requested an ambulance.
Okay.
Frank, would you make your questions brief?
That's very, okay. In the criminal complaint, it said that, that one of the charges was resisting arrest, okay, and obstruction of governmental administration, negotiating, whatever you want, okay. And it said that not only were you resisting arrest, but you were prohibiting another person from being arrested. Was there another person being arrested?
No.
Yeah, okay. My second question is, it said that part of this was that you were kicking your feet, okay? Were you kicking your feet?
No, they had me in a position up in the air, handcuffed, where I tried to reach the floor just to get my balance back.
This is after they picked you up off the floor and you were
Yeah,
handcuffed?
right after they had me handcuffed, they actually lifted me off the ground, where my feet were just kind of like dangling. So I figured, once I get at least 1 foot back on the ground, I can get my balance back. And I guess they took that as I was kicking, kicking.
Okay, there was last question. It says in there, in the criminal complaint, that Officer Rivera, the arresting officer, was on her way outside, making her way outside to, I guess, give a ticket to your daughter. Okay, she's making her way outside. Public safety officers told you to leave, but you insisted on going further into, they call it precinct, but the public safety office. Does that ring any bell, or does that make any sense in terms of what happened there?
No, I went in there once after I retrieved the insurance card.
Are there any other questions?
Thanks very much for being with us.
I thank you, I appreciate that.
If you'd like, this will be on the agenda for our public safety committee. If you'd like to sit and hear what we discuss or move on.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I have a neighbor of mine, a young fellow at the end, had just recently, how recent was this?
Last weekend.
Just last weekend. 2 weeks after my incident, he had another incident.
We're not going to hear him.
Right, no, I know that, I'm just
There are
saying.
many incidents. Our job is to try to learn from these incidents, make sure they don't happen.
Right, exactly.
It's an ongoing process. We are not in a position to set policy.
No,